Hi everyone, I'm Jamie and this is Robin. Look what she can do with her head. She, she's crazy. Anyway, I wanted to do a video on brain fog and how to combat brain fog, and I wish I could just like tell you a supplement or a pill that would make it go away, but like my doctor said, I asked him like what I could do for it, and he's like, if I had an answer to that, I'd be giving it to everybody. What happened with me, it was a combination of things. I'm going to just give you guys a lot of options, and, uh, these have been researched. Some of them are kind of anecdotal, but I found a group of things that worked, and my brain fog at this point is about 97.2% better. It's pretty good. But when I first found all these things that worked, it like within a week it got 80% better from when it was. It was just amazing. And I know what I did and I know exactly what helped. So I'll tell you what it was when I want to go over all the causes of brain fog that I found and all the things that you can do for it. And so a lot of this stuff I pulled up online, and there's really a lot of information, so I might look to the side to kind of help guide myself. So excuse me about that. Um, anyway, so some of the causes are brain inflammation. When you think of the name that we have, it's myalgic encephalomyelitis is another name for chronic fatigue syndrome. That means muscle pain and inflammation of the brain and spinal cord. There have been studies done showing inflammation of the brain with people with chronic fatigue syndrome. If you truly have myalgic encephalomyelitis, most likely you have some inflammation going on in your brain, and that can cause it. I'm reading all these causes because then I'm going to read things that help, like, for example, reduce inflammation. So that's why I'm doing this. Another one is environmental toxins. So this includes pesticides and mold. So for this one, there's many things that you can do. Something I read that was really interesting, what I pulled up, um, it said some things you can do to help the detox pathways are cleansing herbs like milk thistle, wasabi, and artichoke leaf. I had never heard that before. That's just something I read. But if you really want to get on top of, combating mold illness, I would look up Richie Schumacher and read up a little bit more on what you can do. There's a lot of different protocols you can do. I'll post a link down below, and there's avoidance, and there's also other protocols to help detox your body of pollutants and environmental things such as mold. Another one is low-grade infections. So this includes candida or yeast. So we tend to have that a lot with CFS, and some of the things you could do for that. And what I did, I had a test done, and it showed a little candida, but I had so many things wrong with me. I'm just like, I'm gonna try to treat all of them. I didn't just leave it alone. So things that help with candida are staying away from sugar, because sugar feeds yeast. So staying away from processed sugar, can use something like stevia instead. Um, and for me, something else that I brought up for inflammation in the brain, something that you might want to do for that, trying to cut out wheat. I've said this before, I'm not part of the gluten-free bandwagon where I think everyone should not have any gluten. I think it's terrible. I understand a very small percentage of people have a gluten intolerance, otherwise known as celiac disease. I do not have celiac disease. I've been tested twice for it. But I do have a sensitivity to that. And the difference between an intolerance is when you have an intolerance, like lactose intolerance, you get sick, gassy, you might throw up, diarrhea, all that stuff. A sensitivity, it's a lot harder to spot out because it can happen over time, and it's harder to isolate what's going on. So you could do an elimination diet. And I could post a link for how to do that down below too. And so I did find out that I have a sensitivity to wheat, and if you can, I would highly recommend trying to cut out wheat for they usually say try it for like 2 weeks, 2 weeks to a month, and there's no harm doing that. And for people, especially with an autoimmune disorder, it does cause an inflammatory response in the body. So let's see, though, I think those are, I'm sorry, another cause is blood sugar. So people with CFS, you should not skip meals. And I was so much sicker when I first got sick. I was really nauseated, and it was really hard for me to eat, and I got really skinny. And I had to end up kicking it off with cannabis to, just to get me to eat. I would just get so sick, so that's what I needed, and now I can eat without that. But basically grazing throughout the day is better for people with CFS than having like three large meals, because in between those meals your blood sugar is unstable. So instead of having that, you want to have your blood sugar kind of stable. So graze, it doesn't mean to have like 10 huge meals throughout the day, but just eat as much as you normally do, and try to maintain your a healthy body weight, but just cut your portions down and eat that throughout the day. So those are sleep and stress. I'm sorry, I just keep looking back. It's another cause, sleep and stress. I have a whole other video on natural things to do for sleep. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, before I got sick and I didn't get enough sleep, my brain wasn't functioning. I don't know about all of you guys. I actually know people that like get no sleep and they function okay. But with CFS, you definitely want to try to get a lot of sleep, which is hard because we usually have insomnia. I have another video. If you look through my channel, it's natural ways on how to sleep. That's a whole other video. I won't have time to go over it right now. Stress is another one. Stress management, talking to a therapist, yoga, meditation for stress, which is really hard because we have this disease, so we get stressed out about it, or at least I do and did and still do. But so, okay, now I'm pretty sure I'm done with all the causes. No, I'm not. I lied. Okay. This is like really a physiological cause of it. Mitochondria dysfunction is huge, and I read about this in Fatigue to Fantastic, but this information is all over the place, not just in that book. So our mitochondria, usually they've had studies where it shows that our mitochondria is not functioning properly. So what we have to do is focus on how we can help it function properly. And for those of you that don't know, mitochondria, what they called it, at least in anatomy, is the powerhouse of the cell. So you want that to be working. And so if that's not working, if the powerhouse of your cells that are in your body that are making your body function, if that's not working, that is a huge issue. So that is a huge issue with us, right? So we want to focus on how to get our mitochondria functioning. So I'm going to go over supplements now that help with that, and this is what helped me achieve that original whatever percent I said, like 80% brain fog, getting better. I swear I can talk. 80% improvement in brain fog. So coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10 in conjunction with magnesium and D-ribose was my savior. So here's some CoQ10 that I have, and so what CoQ10 does, so our brain requires it, and it helps fuel your cells. And so I took that in conjunction to D-ribose. So this is it. D-ribose is kind of expensive, and from some Fatigue to Fantastic said to start out with a bunch of scoops and cut down. I didn't do that. You can if you want. and if you can afford it, I started with the small amount because for me it made more sense to like start with the smallest amount, see if I had any benefit from it, and then if I didn't, then to go up a little bit. And that actually worked. I started, I think, so this is 2 grams a scoop, and I've always stayed at about 5 grams and been fine. So sometimes a little bit less than that. I take some of it and I put it in my smoothie, which looks really gross right now, but it's really good. So, I'm sorry. So, D-ribose, D-ribose helps fuel ATP, and ATP helps fuel your entire body. D-ribose is a building block of ATP, of adenosine triphosphate, and it helps fuel your body, so it helps with energy, and it helps with brain fog. And in conjunction with that and magnesium, it helped so much. I can't even tell you guys. But what also helped was diet for me. So I'm going to read over some food that is really good for your brain fog health. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. There's like a lot of birds chirping and I'm like getting a little distracted. Okay, so foods, I'm going to go off and read a little bit. Foods that are rich in omega-3, fatty acids, magnesium, and complex B vitamins. So these foods include salmon, avocado, meat, eggs, and leafy green vegetables. So avocados are so key. Like that's actually what I put in my smoothie, just a kind of a fun tip, or it's fun for me. I have a weird intolerance to bananas. It's the only intolerance I have, but I have it to bananas. So if you want a consistency of a banana in your smoothie, you can use an avocado. And I swear I don't even taste it. It's really good. And actually, I'll tell you what's in this because a lot of the foods that they talk about on here, I put it in my smoothie and I start my day out with it. So I do some almond milk, which nuts, here I'm going to read, 1 ounce a day of nuts and seeds can reduce inflammation and provide you with a great source of protein to satisfy your appetite and have a positive impact on your brain and heart health. So almonds are very good for that. So I put organic almond milk, and I also put a little bit of orange juice. People with CFS, it is best not to have a ton of sugary drinks like that, even though it's fruit. So I just put like a little bit in of some orange juice, and then I put blueberries in. I'm going to read blueberries' effect on the brain. So blueberries have one of the highest antioxidant capabilities of all fruits and vegetables and are known to improve memory and cognitive function. So I have blueberries in here. That's all the dots. And okay, and so then what I was talking about also is avocados. Avocado is high in a fatty acid that plays a role in protecting neurons. Along with other fatty acids, it helps make up the myelin sheath lining on neurons that helps information in your brain, that helps travel at speeds up to 200 miles per hour. Wow, that's pretty awesome. So if you don't know, so you have your neuron, right? They send messages. The myelin sheath surrounds the neuron. So as my anatomy instructor explained it, like if you have a wire, you have like that rubber around it, kind of like for insulation, but it's for speed. So that's like what the myelin sheath is to the neuron. Avocados help with that. So I put an avocado in there too, and then also for nuts and seeds, I put almond butter and flaxseed, and so that's what makes up. Am I missing anything? No, that's what makes up my smoothie, and that is what. And then I put a scoop or 2 of D-ribose in, and so that is what has helped for me. I am going to put a bunch of links down below. I'm about to run out of time, so that YouTube doesn't cut me off. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Check out my page, Chronic Fatigue Syndrome. hope and help. And I hope that this helped you guys. I might do a part two because there's so much information. All right, see you guys later.